everybody!
Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Well, as I promised, today we are doing a Masterchef 15 review of the latest episode number 14, and it was called The Wall. Now, if any of you are familiar with this show, they have had this challenge now probably every season for a while, for the last few years. And what they do is, well, let's say how many couples are left. There's 5 couples left, and one will get voted off. There's no more pressure tests, so they get voted off, they leave, that's it. Okay? So what they have to do is they have this wall, and I guess they just went in and they got all their stuff, shelves and of stuff and ovens and all kinds of stuff, and they pile them up really high. And they have the duos will be separated. One will be on one side, one will be on the other, and it's a pretty thick wall of stuff, and they can't they can hear each other, but they have to yell. So you have 5 duos yelling at the same time, and the purpose is each team has to make they have a dish they planned, and not just one dish, like an entree, a vegetable, potatoes or something. And they have to cook it the same. Everything has to be the same. So what they have to do is they have to actually plan out a little bit what they're going to do, because it's good, and they don't even realize it yet. So most of them are familiar with this challenge, and even one of them said, we've seen this before, and it's taken out the best of them. So it can get really, but this is a new season. It's a different season because they have duos. So these people really know each other. They're friends, or they're married, or they're relatives, or whatever. So they've been cooking for a while. So they have kind of maybe an advantage over previous seasons where you have unknown people getting together. So the teams are Jesse and Jessica, Rachel and Julio, Azu and Javier, whatever, Ava and Tina, and Michelle and Zach. And they can all go to the pantry, but this season, I think this is different. It sounded like it was, but they have 5 proteins. So there's 1 protein for each couple. There's no more than that. And they cannot go back to the pantry. They have a limited time. They go in there, grab their protein, and then anything that they need to go with it. And that's it. They can't go back. If they forget it, that's it. And then they set up, and on each side of this wall there is a cook stove and everything, and an oven, everything that they need to make their entree. So then they go to the pantry for a limited time, and everybody grabs stuff, and then they've all planned out what they're going to do before they went in the pantry, which is, it's another thing of a successful outcome, hopefully, is you have to start a certain thing first, and then the thing that has to be cooked least is last, etc. So they all began cooking. Well, what happens? Marco?
Well, I didn't like this episode. I thought that it was very hectic.
Well, it's almost like that's stressful.
Yeah, and it was very loud.
Yes.
It wasn't enjoyable. I really didn't like it. I don't know, the whole thing went by pretty fast too, in a weird way.
It did.
So I didn't like this episode. I didn't really take much from it. other than, I know who, went home, so now I know who's left. But other than that, like, I didn't like the episode. I thought that, in terms of it being a challenge, like, it's weird because, I think that the fact that they're talking over a wall and they're separated by a wall, I think that that's enough. But the fact that, like, they can all hear each other, the different teams, it makes it a lot worse because, like, it's, you have all this background noise. Like, it's a good thing they have good microphones because, like, in the background it was just and it was like, ugh.
Yeah, and what was really, I thought was interesting is Tiffany has never seen it. And so she was, like, really excited and happy because she thought it was just unbelievable. Because it was a little chaotic, and
yeah,
they all, they do the thing where Gordon goes up to the team.
Chef Gordon.
And, Joe and Tiffany, they did it too. But, they're really under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And it seemed to me, before it even started, that it was, I would say, pretty close to evident who the weakest team was. And based on all the other episodes. And I was right, because they were the ones who messed up. And and this is a spoiler, it was Javier and Azu. Now, I'll say which, unless Marco wants to say what they cooked.
I don't care.
I'm not going to have the whole menu, but I'll just read down the people. Michelle and Zach made a potato leek-crusted snapper with asparagus and tomatoes, and a lemon beurre blanc. And it was all good. Zach was criticized for the asparagus because it was a little more undercooked. But as far as, they had to look exactly the same as much as possible. Not just that they were all cooked the same or they were cooked properly, but also they had to look the same. So that was another thing about planning ahead of time. And, you're talking, I read you, I mean, this is their complete menu, so it was a lot to keep track of. And then there was Javier and Azu, and they made and I'm not going to say what their whole thing was, they made a hamachi fish, and a few things with that. And the problem is there were differences between each dish. And she had actually forgotten 2 ingredients. One was garlic. I don't remember the other thing.
Yeah, garlic. Which I was wondering, why couldn't they just use garlic powder? Didn't they have, like, all the spices, like,
I don't know,
at their disposal? Because you could use garlic powder. It still wouldn't be, the best. But
you might not be happy about that.
So what?
And then the only thing, well, not the only thing, but judges were disappointed. There were many differences, and the whole thing tasted disconnected. Like what they decided to make, it didn't go together. And one of the judges said they were miles apart. So, right away, it doesn't look good for them.
Well, and also, the judges said something which basically told you they were going home.
What was that?
They said even the best components of their dish weren't very good. And so that was like, because, like, that means it's a bad dish, that means, you're in big trouble. And, I think it is unfortunate, though, because I did grow to like them more than I did at the beginning. But mostly because they're entertaining. Like, I probably say the funniest thing of the season was when, she was arguing with the Asian woman. And they're just, like, having, like, a cat fight. And Gordon had to come over and break them up.
Well, she said
That was hilarious.
she also said something weird like, "Oh well, as long as our fish is good, we'll be okay and be in the final." And I'm like, "Really? Is that what you think? Because that's not true."
Well, that can be something that happens on MasterChef, which is like, oh, well, the hero of this dish was well cooked, so at least there's that. You know, like, because the meat is the hero of the dish, right? Like, not tonight, though. We're having grilled cheese and tomato soup, so the
thing
hero.
about their fish, I'm not even sure what kind of fish it was, but you know, Marco's a real big thing on this with like salmon, about the skin, and we've seen a multitude of cooking shows where they talk about salmon and the salmon skin, and it has to be down or it has to be up. It's usually down.
I can't get the skin crispy in the oven, unfortunately. It's really sad because I love the skin. I love crispy skin on chicken, and I love the skin on the fish. It's my favorite part, probably.
Well, remember, one of their requirements was they had to pretty much look the same. They couldn't be too much off. But one had their skin side up, and one had their skin side down. And I think she was the one that had it up, because that's what she preferred. I mean, that's not the point of doing what they're doing. They have to have it the same. So it's not what she prefers. So that, I thought that was kind of naive to say that. The next one was Rachel and Julio. They made a pan-seared venison loin, and there was 2 different sauces and some creamy potatoes, mashed potatoes, and their sauces were different. And this is one thing. Gordon has done this all season.
Chef Gordon.
He's picked somebody. It doesn't matter who. And he's gone on and on during the entire episode about their sauce in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't shut up about it. He just went on and on. He kept coming back to him, and he'd say something. And see, Julio was the one right. He was right in front of him.
It's a good thing because wine takes time to reduce.
Yeah, that was the problem.
And you think about when I made that risotto, that was red wine risotto. So.
Yeah, and it definitely would have to be reduced. So the thing is, the thing that they criticized, she had never cooked venison. I think that's what she said, or she had very little experience. And their sauces were different. In fact, her sauce, they said at the end, if her sauce had been mixed with his sauce, it would have been perfect. So they did okay with the venison, pretty much, but the sauces looked different on the plate, and his was not. And he had gone after. He went after him over and over about, you better get that sauce reduced. You better get that alcohol out, or it'll just taste like a glass of wine or something. And so his wasn't reduced enough, and then she didn't have enough or something. So each sauce had what the other one was missing. That was the quote.
You know what I wanted to say to Julio?
What?
Did you feel emasculated that your
was,
sauce wasn't correct?
They've said the weirdest stuff to them, and they're not bad people at all. They're not. They don't get on people's nerves.
Did you feel emasculated when your wife's sauce was more reduced than yours?
Okay, and then we have 2 more couples. We have Jesse and Jessica. They're the people from Boston. They made a pan-seared trout with a lemon vinaigrette and asparagus. And I don't think they had much of a... There must have been something... Maybe it was the way they were... Oh, it was the way they looked. They were a little off. That was their only criticism. And then the last pair was Tina and Yvonne. And they made this thing that they were both used to... The grandmother in the family had made this recipe, and then Tina had made it, another generation, and then Yvonne had made it, and she's the next generation. So 3 generations or more of this family had made this dish. And it was something that they usually serve with rice. It was a Vietnamese shaken beef. And the big quote of it is they had it, they thought they would upgrade the dish or make it, special. And instead of using rice, they used these other kind of noodles, and they made a nest.
Well, I will say, I think that was the best sounding dish out of all of them this episode. I really would love to eat that. I haven't gotten to make beef and oyster sauce for a while, and that's kind of what it reminded me of. But it looked like there were way too many noodles and not enough of the stuff in the middle. And
that's what they said. Remember the commercial? Where's the beef? That's what Gordon said. Where's the beef?
Chef Gordon.
He said that you got caught up more in style than substance.
You know what I would have said if I was them? I would have said, well, Chef Gordon, why don't you open up one of your frozen meals and tell me about those portions?
They probably don't even know they exist.
Because those portions are small, or way smaller than what they got on those plates.
And their meat was different. They were chopped into small pieces, but Yvonne's was cut in a bigger chunk than Tina's, and Joe commented about that, which is queer, nitpicky. But and Tiffany kind of intimated that if they had just gone ahead and done rice instead of this other noodles, because what happened was they buried the beef in the nest of noodles. I mean, this was an actual nest. It looked like a nest.
It was very unattractive.
You couldn't even see the beef because it was like covered. They hid it in there like in a pocket and covered it up with the noodles, and so I'll tell you what places everybody got. Well, first was Michelle and Zach. Second was Jesse and Jessica. Third was Rachel and Julio. Fourth was Tina and Yvonne. And last place was Javier and Azul. And that's it. And next week, they're going to do the challenge where...
Another shitty challenge that we don't like.
It'll be a little bit different, though, because they have these duos. They have to watch what Chef Gordon is doing, and then they have to imitate it. I guess while he does it again, and they have to follow along, and they have to be. It's an exactly timed thing. So each thing they do, they have to be right in sync with him. But the extra special little condition that they have, because they're a duo, is they're going to do it tag team style. So they will have to switch every 5 minutes, which I really can't even imagine how it's going to work. Because usually in the other seasons, you're talking about single people competing against each other, single contestants. I mean, they're one contestant against another one, against another one. And of course, because they're duos, they've had to alter it a bit. So that's what they do. So that'll make it even harder. So we'll see what happens. These are all I would say the final people are really all very capable. It's going to be close. When somebody gets nervous or burns something, I mean, these are the top couples of the competition, I believe. And have been the entire time.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I hope that Julio doesn't feel emasculated next episode, because that would be terrible.
Well, they can't go around making comments, because for one thing, you'll be doing this tag team thing every 5 minutes. And what I mean is one person cooks, and in 5 minutes is up, they have to leave. And the other person comes for 5 minutes, and then they have to leave.
I would really like to see a challenge in a future season where the judges are actually cooking with the contestants.
I think they have had that.
So they would have like
Once.
Gordon cooking with a guy, and then Tiffany cooking with a guy, and Joe cooking with a guy, because that would be really, really funny to see what would happen, like if they had to actually get hands-on with them, you know, and cook with them.
We've seen that.
Maybe. I can't remember.
We may not have seen it on this show.
Was it Masterchef Junior?
I don't know. It may have been on another show. It just sounds familiar.
I do remember there was the one season, Safi won't ever forget it, where the guy's parents didn't show up and everyone else's parents did. And instead of doing the right thing, which, you know, what Gordon should have done is he should have said, well, your parent isn't here, so I'll be there with you. And Gordon should have helped that contestant out, and then he got sent home that week because of his horrible parents.
And he was...
Remember that, Safi?
Yeah, it threw him off.
That was a good opportunity for Gordon to do the right thing. But he just had to be Chef Gordon.
Yeah, I thought that was very depressing. I didn't like it. So anyway, that's it. So, stay tuned for next week.
But our Patreon, that's more important than
Marco,
Masterchef.
Would you like to talk about your Patreon?
No, you talk about it.
Okay, Marco has set up a Patreon.
Link is in the description.
The link is in the description, and there's 3 levels, and it will contain content not available to regular subscribers that have a lot to do with his making movies.
This will be the best content. We will have tons of extra videos, and it's going to be like, if you're not in the Patreon, you are missing out. Just like, well, instead of spending money on getting Gordon Ramsay's frozen meals, you should spend the money on our Patreon, because it will be a lot better. It'll taste better too. You can taste our content.
Yeah.
Smell-o-vision.
So if you're interested in that and you want to sign up, come on down. If you want to become one of our subscribers, we have 727. We welcome new ones. And if you have a comment about what we talked about, if you're a regular viewer of a cooking show or this cooking show, if you have seen the people, the cook, whoever it is, the chef, whoever, cook with the contestants ever, like as part of the challenge, let us know. Make a comment, and we would appreciate it. So, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.